When we talk about hydrogen projects, the first question investors will ask is whether the project economics make sense. That means moving beyond the excitement of clean energy and diving into the numbers. The metric they care about most is the levelized cost of hydrogen, or LCOH. This is the break-even cost per kilogram of hydrogen when you account for all capital costs, operating expenses, financing terms, and energy inputs. If your LCOH is too high compared to market prices or competing fuels, investors won't bite. But if you can demonstrate an LCOH that is competitive and achievable under real-world conditions, you've crossed the first hurdle toward being investor-ready. Studies by the International Energy Agency and the Hydrogen Council show that in optimal conditions, green hydrogen could drop to under $2 per kilogram by 2030, but location, scale, and technology choices can push costs anywhere between $1.85 per kilogram and $8.40 per kilogram today depending on where you build. This is why tools that provide rapid, location-specific modeling are critical. With platforms like H2 Hub Premium, developers can instantly compare costs across regions, scale factors, and electrolyzer technologies, ensuring that their project assumptions are grounded in reality. However, investors don't just want to see the cost of hydrogen production. They want to see bankability. That means presenting a full financial picture that includes internal rate of return, net present value, debt service coverage ratio, and a clear payback period. Banks and equity investors will ask, if I put $10 million into this project, how soon do I get it back? What annualized return am I looking at? Can this project support debt financing with a comfortable margin of safety? For example, many banks will require a DSCR of at least 1.3x, meaning the project must consistently generate 30% more cash than needed to cover its debt obligations. If your project modeling shows a DSCR below the threshold, financing will be difficult. The good news is that with modern financial modeling templates and integrated platforms, you can produce investor-grade cash flow models in hours rather than months. This accelerates your ability to test scenarios, optimize assumptions, and present professional-grade documents to stakeholders. Speed matters more than ever. Traditional consulting firms often take 6 months or more to deliver feasibility reports, costing upwards of $300,000. That kind of timeline and budget is simply out of reach for small and medium-sized developers. Yet the SME market, projects between $1 million and $50 million, is where much of the innovation and early adoption of hydrogen is happening. These developers need enterprise-grade tools at SME-accessible pricing. That's the gap H2 Hub fills. By unifying AI-powered schematics, global modeling, financial templates, and verified supplier databases, the platform allows you to do in a matter of days what previously required a team of consultants. And when time to market is critical, whether you're responding to an off-taker's request for proposals or competing for government funding, being able to deliver an investor-ready feasibility package quickly can be the difference between winning and losing opportunities. Another crucial element in becoming investor-ready is understanding the role of scale. Hydrogen economics are extremely sensitive to project size. A small 100 kilowatt pilot might have an LCOH of $12 to $13 per kilogram, while a 10 gigawatt mega project could slash costs to under $2.50 per kilogram. That's a 5-fold cost difference purely from scaling effects. Investors know this, which is why they'll scrutinize your assumptions about plant size and growth trajectory. You don't necessarily need to start with a mega project, but you do need to show how your project can scale or how your chosen size is optimal for your market. This could mean starting with a modular 1 to 5 megawatt project for a local industrial offtaker, with a roadmap to expand as demand grows. What matters is that your financial model clearly demonstrates economies of scale and a pathway to long-term competitiveness. Technology choices also play a decisive role in investor readiness. Will you use alkaline, PEM, or solid oxide electrolyzers? Each has trade-offs in terms of cost, efficiency, and suitability for renewable intermittency. Investors will want to see that you've evaluated these options and chosen the one that aligns with your energy profile and market conditions. For example, a project heavily reliant on solar might favor PEM electrolyzers for their dynamic response, while a project with stable grid or wind input might lean toward alkaline for cost savings. The same applies to storage and transport solutions. Are you storing hydrogen as compressed gas, liquefying it, or converting it to ammonia? Each pathway involves different CapEx, OpEx, and logistics. An investor-ready project demonstrates that these decisions are not arbitrary but based on data-backed analysis of costs, efficiency, and market alignment. Beyond the numbers, credibility comes from execution capability. Investors will ask, who is on your team? Do you have experienced engineers, financiers, and project managers involved? If you're a first-time developer, partnering with established consultants or leveraging a professional network like the one inside H2 Hub can help bridge credibility gaps. Demonstrating that you have access to expert advice, verified supplier data, and industry case studies shows that your project is not operating in isolation. It is benchmarked against real-world examples and supported by professional-grade intelligence. For instance, H2 Hub Premium users gain access to case studies on landmark projects like Iberdrola's Pure Toledo plant in Spain, which illustrate how financing structures and offtake agreements are arranged in practice. This kind of benchmarking is invaluable when investors ask, how do we know your project can perform like you say it will? Permitting and regulatory compliance are another area where many projects falter. Investors want certainty that your project won't be delayed by overlooked approvals or misaligned incentives. That's why having a clear permitting roadmap is essential. Tools like H2 Hub's permitting templates, which highlight hydrogen-specific bottlenecks across jurisdictions, can save months of frustration and demonstrate to investors that you've done your homework. Similarly, aligning your project with policy incentives, whether it's the US Inflation Reduction Act's hydrogen production tax credits or Europe's hydrogen bank support mechanisms, can tilt the economics in your favor. An investor-ready project doesn't just model costs in isolation, it incorporates policy frameworks to show how incentives enhance bankability. The other key ingredient is offtake. Even the best designed hydrogen project won't get financed without buyers for the hydrogen. Investors will ask, who will purchase the output, at what price, and under what terms? Having a signed memorandum of understanding or letter of intent from an offtaker dramatically improves your project's credibility. That's why templates and guidance around offtake agreements are essential for developers looking to accelerate their path to investor readiness. Whether your target customers are steel producers, fertilizer companies, or mobility operators, demonstrating serious buyer interest is often the tipping point in securing investment. At this point, it's clear that becoming investor ready is not about hype, it's about discipline. It requires credible financial modeling, technology evaluation, regulatory alignment, offtake agreements, and professional networks. But with the right tools and resources, it no longer needs to take half a year or hundreds of thousands of dollars to achieve. You can now generate professional schematics, LCOH analyses, cash flow projections, and even draft investor reports in days. That speed is a game changer for SMEs and consultants who previously couldn't compete with deep-pocketed corporates. So how do you put this into action? The first step is to equip yourself with structured learning and professional tools. That's why ReneEnergy.com offers the Green Hydrogen Project Development and Financing course, a 10-module program that walks you through every stage of project development, from feasibility to financing. It includes templates, case studies, and even a professional Excel-based financial model to simulate your own project. Pair this with H2 Hub Premium, and you have an integrated ecosystem: education, financial modeling, global data, supplier intelligence, and community networking, all in one place. With these resources, you're not just learning, you're building real investor-ready projects quickly, with confidence and credibility. The hydrogen economy is accelerating, and those who can present investor-ready projects today will shape the market of tomorrow. Whether you're a first-time developer, a consultant expanding into hydrogen, or an industrial player exploring decarbonization, the pathway is clear. Combine rigorous economics, strategic planning, and the right tools, and you can move from idea to investor pitch in weeks. That is the future of green hydrogen development, and it's one you can be part of right now. Visit ReneEnergy.com or h2hub.reneenergy.com to access the course, the templates, and the H2 Hub Premium platform, and start building your first investor-ready hydrogen project today.